261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Solutions Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
It is 54 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 9 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Police are investigating after shots were fired in McKees Rocks on Friday afternoon. Police say it was a car that was shot up near Islet Avenue, but no one was struck by gunfire. The shooting prompted Stowe Rock's primary center to go on lockdown. Police believe there are at least two suspects. They were chased into a wooded area by police, but police ultimately could not locate them. Norfolk Southern on Thursday announced a nearly $4 million investment into drinking water infrastructure in East Palestine. The Ohio Environmental Protection Agency continues testing the water for contamination following February's train derailment. So far, the EPA says no issues have been found. Construction has already started next to the current wastewater plant. 5th Judicial District of Pennsylvania announced on Friday it has a contract with Latrobe-based Adelphi to offer detention services for juveniles in Allegheny County. Adelphi will operate the Schumann Juvenile Detention Center in Lincoln-Leamington, which has been closed since 2021. Adelphi will initially serve 12 teens, and construction of the detention areas will be ongoing, expected to be complete by the end of the year, which gives the Schumann the ability to then house 60 juveniles. In a statement, Common Pleas President Judge Kim Berkeley Clark says the reopening of Schumann, in her words, will greatly enhance the safety of all communities in Allegheny County, consistent with balanced and restorative justice. State police say there's an unfortunate ending to the search for a missing Salzburg man. More from News Radio KDK's David Ballarado.
45-year-old John Bialis was found dead Friday when someone who'd been looking for him discovered his vehicle in Young Township, Indiana County. Police there began a search and found his body. Foul play is not suspected, but the Indiana County coroner says they will do an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. Bialis was reported missing on Wednesday when he didn't show up for work. David Ballarado, News Radio KDKA.
Pennsylvanians can now connect with their governor via text. Josh Shapiro announced on Friday the new text line is another way that residents can connect to him and his administration. He wants Pennsylvanians to tell him about their most pressing issues impacting them and their families. It also gives Shapiro a way to relay updates that his administration is doing that will directly affect residents. The text number to sign up is 717-788-8990. KDK Radio News Time. We're coming up on 9:03. It's time to call Wilson's Pharmacy for the best prices on generic Viagra. Visit wilsonspharmacy.org. The AccuWeather forecast coming up.
When you shop at Coons Market, you're shopping the entire Pittsburgh area community.
Coons Market is proud to feature many Pittsburgh products, such as Isley's, Bellevue, and Breadworks.
Coons works with area farmers to source fresh, local products, placing the bounties from the Pittsburgh community right at your kitchen table.
As a family-owned grocer for the past 54 years, Coons is part of the Pittsburgh area fabric. You'll always find quality items that are made or grown in our area.
And you'll also find special Coons bargains, such as
Isley's Original Chipped Ham, only $4.49 per pound. And with savings you can see on your Coons Reward card, original or maple Uncle Charlie's breakfast sausage links or patties. 10-ounce packages, 4 for $10.
lots of savings.
Coons brings together the Pittsburgh area community each time you shop with savings you can see on your Coons Rewards card.
Shop at one of Coons' 8 store locations or shop online at coonsmarket.com for convenient curbside pickup.
Coons Market,
A Pittsburgh tradition.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
We'll have some patchy fog out there today, but we'll be mostly sunny overall. A nice start to the weekend with a high of 74. Increasing clouds tonight, low down to 52. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a shower, high 67. Clouds and sun on Monday with a stray shower, high 70. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
54 degrees in Pittsburgh. I'm Rob Taylor. Next update, 9:30 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. News Radio KDK.
The following is paid for by MediConnect. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information aired on the following program.
These are the people, the movers and shakers, the businesses, the people you know in your community who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, so we are here once again with the Inside Connection, the annual enrollment period just weeks away. MediConnectInsurance.com. Call them now. We have advisors standing by. 888-818-6334 until noon. Set up an appointment. There is never a charge for their services. We have so much to get to. Mark is here. Lauren is here. So, Lauren, you begin, and let's get rolling with another edition of the Inside Connection as the countdown has begun.
Good morning, Pittsburgh. So today, after discussing the annual notice of change during the last few weeks, we're going to explain how to take your own personal situation into account when considering all of your options for 2024, how to understand your drug costs, out-of-pocket copays, for using your medical care, premium changes, and, looking into your lifestyle a little bit. I always say, what's important to you? Do you travel? Is that important, right? And any health concerns that you have as well. But before we, dive into the world of Medicare, and again, that start line is quickly approaching us here at MediConnect for the annual enrollment period. So give us a call, 888-818-6334. Live advisor standing by till noon today to get an appointment, get it taken care of early so you don't have to worry. You can enjoy Thanksgiving. You can enjoy the holidays without stressing about your Medicare. However, before we jump into everything there, we're going to jump into a little bit of fun, right? So, Mark, if you want to take it away with some events that happened in history.
Yeah, let's see. It's September 16th, right? September 16th in history. We've got way back in 1620, English colonists climbed aboard the Mayflower to set sail for America, and shortly thereafter, they founded Plymouth, Massachusetts, and then 41 men signed the Mayflower Compact. In 1919, Congress granted a national charter to the American Legion, the organization of U.S. war veterans. And more recently, on a lighter note, right, we'll laugh a little about it. Well, this is one of my favorite shows back in the day. Frasier, right, a spinoff of Cheers. Good old Frasier Crane. It debuted on September 16th on NBC. And, it's still one of the most popular shows from that time.
And it's coming back, too.
Yeah. When I see it, I tune in, I watch it. It makes me laugh every time. It's a good show.
Well, what's great about, things like Netflix, you get some of these old sitcoms and they load them in. You can kind of binge watch them and, just kind of feel that nostalgic feeling, from watching them.
It does take you back. Welcome Back, Kotter, or WKRP, all that fun stuff. I'm a TV junkie from back then, so hey, I loved it all. Birthdays. Let's talk about birthdays today. J.C. Penney, the founder of J.C. Penney Department Stores and Catalog, was born in 1875. Yeah, that was a while back. I think you'd be amazed at maybe the trend he started. Right? There's Amazon today. There's just so much. So much of the industry has changed, but, he was an innovator, somebody that really innovated in that industry. David Copperfield, 67 years young today. Wow, that's hard to believe. He's known for making the Great Wall of China and even the Statue of Liberty just disappear, Lauren. They're gone, right? They're back again, but... So he became the face of magic at some point, right?
Well, he can make all those things disappear, but 67, he's probably on Medicare, needs a Medicare plan.
Probably does. And if you're not David Copperfield, please give us a call. And then there's, it would have been B.B. King, legendary B.B. King, September 16th. He was born that day, and sadly, he passed in 2015, but he was regarded as one of the best guitar players in blues history. He inspired musicians like Jimi Hendrix, Billy Gibson from ZZ Top, the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, U2, Santana. Those are some big hitters.
Real big.
Pretty influential names there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will tell you, I told you I was a TV junkie from back then, right? There's nothing better for me than on a Friday night, sit back after work and listen to some old classic tunes, the oldies of my day, right? The 80s, the 70s. It's terrible, Rob. When you get to the age, the oldies station is what I used to listen to. Right?
Well, this, not to age myself, right? But this week, MTV Music Awards were on. NSYNC was on, and I was
they didn't
pumped.
perform. I was hoping they would do something.
Me too. But then I saw an article, and it was like 20 years since their last release. I forwarded it to my mom. I was like, 20 years? 20.
Wow.
That made me feel a little bit old. But, I love my old music as well. I go back to like Frank Sinatra and that kind of stuff. But I was, in the car, and I was like, who's somebody I haven't listened to in a while? And I did. I rocked out to some Zeppelin for a couple days in a row and just kind of had their tracks playing, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah, well, my wife and I got to go to Duran Duran last week, so that was really good. Really, really good. We're so glad we were able to see them.
So my last name is Yuran, right? And most people mispronounce it. Right? So whenever people are trying to pronounce my last name, I'm always like, it's like Duran Duran, but with a Y. So a lot of people I've worked with in the past will call me Yuran. So.
Well, there you go. So,
Good
trivia.
stuff.
We're going to do a little trivia today, right?
Yeah, that is correct. So, Rob, that number to call in for trivia to win a $15 gas card is
412-922-1020. 412-922-1020.
All right. So, today's trivia and a chance to win a $15 gas card. Back in 1920, the first successful sustained radio transmission of an image using a mechanical TV is accomplished. Who was the person responsible for the technology that we now take for granted? So 1920, the first successful sustained radio transmission of an image using a mechanical TV is accomplished. Who was the person responsible for the technology we now take for granted? A little tough one this week.
That's a tough one, yes.
All right, so if you're going to be new to Medicare in the next 12 months, whether by celebrating your 65th birthday or you're over the age of 65 and considering your options, here is where they will be.
All right, so those upcoming seminars, come see us live and in person. Give us a call to reserve your space. 888-818-6334. We can help you there. Or check out the seminars tab on MediConnectInsurance.com, and you can register online. September 19th, and these are at 6 p.m., and also an additional one at 7:15 p.m. will be the AHN Hospital in McCandless. September 20th, 6 p.m., Holiday Inn in Washington Pike, Bridgeville. September 26th, Beaver Memorial Library. October 5th, 6 p.m., Cranberry Campus. And October 11th, 6 p.m., Northern Tier Library in Gibsonia.
All right, again, we're going to take a short break in just a couple of moments, then we'll come back on the other side. We have a lot more to get to. After the break, we're going to start laying out the game plan for each Medicare-eligible listener for what you should be taking stock of in your own personal situation to navigate Medicare during the upcoming enrollment period. So just so you all know, I'm taking stock, okay? Got me with the Social Security check. That's working out. Now I'm starting to maneuver and think maybe next year will be the year that I will officially go on Medicare. But I got what is the Medicare A card in the mail, and it's nothing to write home about, but it's okay because it pays dividends, doesn't have to look good. So I brought it in to show Lauren, and this is what she had to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rob, you asked a great question. I get this question all the time from folks, right? So we oftentimes tell people, when you're coming on to that 65 range, right? Even if you're still continuing to work and you're going to keep your group insurance, it's good to activate Part A as an apple, right? So that's your hospital insurance, Part A. Part B is your outpatient insurance. So when you're activating your Part A, right, a lot of people ask me, well, okay, I got this card. I have Part A. You didn't start Part B yet because Part A is premium free for most people. And Part B does cost a premium for most people. So we tell people, don't turn on that Part B unless you want to pay for it, right? If you already have group coverage, you can turn that A on. Now you're in the system. So when we go to turn Part B on, makes it a little bit easier to find you. However, Rob asked, hey, do I need to use this? Do I need to take this into the hospital? Part A, we always say, free to have, not free to use. So it can be rather expensive. Your group coverage is probably, in most cases, going to cover your hospital stay a lot stronger than that A would become secondary in the case that you needed to utilize it in a secondary situation. But most cases, you're not going to need to utilize that. So just tuck it in a safe place if you just have that Part A. When you do activate B at a later date, and Rob, let's say you're activating B to come onto your Medicare plan, right? Then they'll send you a new card with the A and the B date. But it's good to have that card because it has your Medicare number on there.
You want to add anything to that, Mark?
Well, it just is important to, if you get into the system, right? If you take your Part A when you're turning 65, or if you decide at a later date you're just going to take Part A because you have that group coverage, because you're still working, you take Part A, you get your Medicare number, you're already in the system. That way, when you go to activate Part B, it makes it so much easier. You know what your number is already. It's almost like they just flip a switch.
I always say, we're on the back end now of this baby boomer, right?
Yeah.
And 11,000 people a day, every day, throughout the nation are turning 65. So when you're going to turn that on Medicare's website or the Social Security office are calling them, right? You're in line essentially behind 11,000 people that day. So when you're already in the system, you're a lot easier to find, and it's the government, right? So they make things a little bit complicated, and it could take a little bit of time to turn things on. But if you are 65 and activating that A and remaining on a group plan, one thing that's extremely important to know is if you have an HSA through your group plan, right? If you're planning to come on to Medicare, they can tax back to that Part A and tax you, right, in that HSA for 6 months after you turn 65. So, if you're planning, like my dad turned 65 before, right, at last January, 6 months out from him taking Medicare, he's going to want to stop contributions to that HSA so he doesn't get taxed. So that is one important thing to know if you are turning that on.
All right, now listen, don't forget you can call them. They're standing by right now, 888-818-6334, MediConnectInsurance.com. Get ready for the most tail-wagging event of the year. Make plans now to attend Pet Fest 23, presented by Subaru, Saturday, October 28th at Stage AE. Bring your best four-legged leashed friend. Explore an array of pet-centric vendors inside Stage AE. Capture unforgettable memories on stage in our photo op area with Bully Max locker room photos, holiday photos from the Salvation Army, plus pictures with Santa. Swing outside for the dog shop hydration station, pet agility courses, and visit the local shelters. Hey, remember, don't miss this paw-tastic extravaganza and explore an array of pet-centric vendors, including Healthy Pets, Joy Dog Food, and AARP. Details, everything can be found at kdkaradio.com.
Your source for everything that's news. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
While interest rates are skyrocketing everywhere else, Diamonds Direct comes to the rescue. Now for a limited time, get 0% interest for 5 years on anything and everything. Now through October 1st, you get Diamonds Direct's incredible value price and spread your payments over 5 years with an unheard of interest rate of 0.0%. Nothing's held back. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets. At a time when you need it most, Diamonds Direct steps up for the best offer in the nation. Don't miss it. Get details, showroom hours, and more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On approved credit.
This is Christine Brown Murphy of the elder law firm Zachariah Brown. If you have a spouse in a nursing facility, critical steps must be taken to protect your family home from being lost to the high cost of nursing home care. Changes need to be made to your deed, and your last will and testament must prohibit assets from passing to your nursing home spouse in the event you would pass away first. To protect your hard-earned assets and income, contact the experienced elder law attorneys at Zachariah Brown at 724-942-6200 or visit PittsburghElderLaw.com.
If you love headlines that make you stop scrolling and start reading, you'll love my podcast, Something Offbeat. I'm Mike Rogers, and in the past year, we've learned about items on the nude bucket list.
It's just a lot of normal stuff that people do nude rather than clothed.
And what's behind the rash of incidents involving fans throwing objects at artists on stage.
They're being treated more like the object on the screen than the person on the stage.
Something Offbeat drops Mondays in the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Did you know that now you can listen to all your favorite stations, including this one, shows, and even podcasts, all on the Odyssey app? Download it now.
These are the people that make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, so we have a winner in our trivia question, Carol from Ross Township, and here is the question and the correct answer. Lauren.
All right. The first successful sustained radio transmission of an image using the mechanical TV is accomplished. Who was the person responsible for the technology we now take for granted? And that person responsible for that technology is John Logie Baird.
Not to be confused with Yogi Bear, but John Logie Baird. That's pretty cool, though. I didn't realize 1920. That's the same year that we went on the radio, the very first radio
Absolutely.
station.
But you think, how far back, early 1900s, Nickelodeons, right? So they were transmitting some type of image from movie senses. I think the earliest kind of film was even the very late 1800s, if I remember back to my film analysis class from 9th grade properly. So
they were teaching you that in 9th grade.
Oh yeah, I elected to do that because you know my love for that stuff. So
That's pretty cool.
I got to watch. I know we watched some films in that were like, I want to say it was like 1915, 1914 era. And I'm a huge fan actually of one of my favorite genres of movies is the silent films, but the cult horror silent films. So like the scary movies, and they all get shown on like Turner Classic Movies like in October. And guess what? For 13 years, I have not gotten to do sit down and enjoy my movies because it's annual enrollment period.
And you know the real reason why the television industry boomed in the late 40s and 50s was because of one show, Milton Berle's, the Texaco Comedy Hour. That is the reason why so many people flocked into that local TV store to buy those televisions as they were watching these shows from the window on the sidewalk. So Milton Berle had a lot to do with that. Okay, so where do we go from here?
All right, well, we're going to talk more on a personal level today about how to make the most out of this upcoming Medicare annual enrollment period. If you're the type of person who likes to get out in front of the noise and confusion, or even if you're like me and you like to procrastinate, but then you panic at the end of the annual enrollment period, right? Because you're like, wait, I only got a few days left. Why don't you just stop that anxious feeling? Why don't you stop that confusion? Why don't you just get ahead of it, take care of it, right? We're beginning to take appointments for the first few weeks of October right now. So if you call in to our top-rated experts, they're all standing by right now through the noon hour, 888-818-6334. They can schedule you for an appointment just to review your options and see what's out there. We know, right, we talk about this all the time. We're not allowed to talk about the plan benefits, right, till October 1st. The carriers make us,
Mum's the word.
Mum's the word, right. Absolutely. So, again, one of the things that I see a lot too, Mark, I don't know how many people do this for you, but when I walk into a home or I'm working with somebody, they always want to show me their stack of mail.
Yeah,
Look how many things I got, right?
Yeah.
And I always tell them, now that you're working with us, you can either A, throw it out. You can just toss it in the trash because we're going to help you out there. Or if you get a piece of mail and like something looks flashy on there, you have a question, could I be eligible for this, right?
Sure.
You can just give us a call because we're going to represent that plan most likely, or we're going to know about it. And that way, again, it can take away the hassle, take away the confusion. But like I said, if you like to get out in front of these things, or if you don't,
you
and
know what that paper's good for, right? That if you don't want to just throw it away, it's getting cooler out. If you have a fireplace, just put it in there, start that fire with the kindling, right? And, Lauren, it's important, right? One of the biggest issues we face is people become really complacent. Right? People are complacent with their Medicare coverage. Maybe they signed up years ago and it's comfortable, right? And so rather than panic, rather than worry, rather than try to figure out whether something's better, it's like a pair of old slippers. You slip them on, they're comfortable, you're good with them.
I know it was one of the more recent shows that I did. I talked to the fact that in the state of Pennsylvania, there's 21,000 enrollees on plans, Medicare Advantage plans, that the premium is over $100. That 21,000 people I had referenced makes up per year annually $55 million in premiums. That doesn't even go towards your maximum out of pocket to help protect you, right? And these folks, that's just one statistic of people that probably haven't reviewed those benefits, because we know, Mark, you and I, that there are plans out there with extremely similar benefits, if not more robust, and under a $40 mark. And a lot of people, they get thrown off at, well, I'm paying $295 for this. How can $40 be covering me as good as or better than what I have now? So we see those folks continually get complacent, and that's just one large example. But if you haven't looked at your plan, even if you're on a plan that's under $40, there could be something out there that's going to cover you and your needs a little bit stronger. So, Mark, if you want to talk about, some of these pieces of advice that we have, coming up.
And again, MediConnect, what do we stand for? Medicare Made Simple, right? That's our motto. We're going to talk to you in language that you understand. We're going to help you understand the different parts of Medicare, right? And at no cost to you. It never costs a fee to talk to us. I tell people all the time, you can call me and have me come see you 10 times. You can call me 100 times. You can come to our office 50 times. It's never going to cost you anything. What else could you ask for, right, Lauren? I mean, professional advice, expert advice at no cost to you.
Well, not to throw Rob under the bus here, right? But Rob, brought his card in and had a question. And he hosts the show with us weekly for how many years?
5.
You know about Medicare. When you retire, I might be talking you into getting licensed and becoming my new insurance rep. But, it's so confusing. And I think the Medicare Made Simple is such a huge piece of relief for a lot of folks.
That's right.
Rob knows, hey, I'm going to hold this. I'm going to show it to these guys on Saturday. But not everybody has us coming into their studio on Saturday morning to ask those Medicare questions. But you can just give us a call. Same type of service will be offered to you as well.
But I can tell you, because of the power of this radio station, at least 50 to 100 people listening right now went, oh, is that what that card's for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's all about communicating. And to have MediConnect add as a resource, a toll-free number, and no charge for their services, everybody's in on this show.
Everybody gets the chance. It's going to be the same, no cost, no obligation to anyone that calls into us.
Yep, and we come to you. You can come to us. We can talk to you over the phone. We can even do Zoom appointments. So, we will accommodate our schedule to fit yours. We'll make sure that we meet with you at a convenient time for you. And Lauren, one of those pieces of advice we're given today is don't become complacent, right? Insurance companies want us to be kind of lulled to sleep. They want us to become comfortable with the coverage we have. We think, oh, it's too much of a hassle, it's too confusing, it's too hard to leave the coverage, but we can show you the options you have.
Or some people even just say, they've taken care of me. Right. And they think it's taken care of, but they don't realize even within the same carrier, if they're comfortable with the carrier, there could be a plan that takes care of them at less financial obligation to the consumer.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. Somebody's on... A couple years ago, I remembered that one of the carriers has a plan that's around $230 a month, and then they had a $30 a month plan. And if you sat those plans together and compared them line for line, sometimes the $30 a month one gave more generous benefits, right? and people are like, well, wait a minute, I don't get that benefit, and I'm paying $200 a month more. And they're not going to call you and say, look, you could save some money.
All right, listen, we're going to take a short break, come back on the other side. Your preferred pharmacy, are you using them? Does your drug coverage have your meds on the lowest tier possible? Cost versus coverage. We talk about this stuff every week. They are the experts. And remember, set up that appointment. Annual enrollment just weeks away. Soon to be 65, currently 65. You want to re-examine your current coverage. There is never a charge for their services. Pick up that phone. Do it today. Don't put this off. 888-818-6334. 888-818-6334, MediConnectInsurance.com. Don't miss out on important updates in Pittsburgh from breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow News Radio KDKA on the Odyssey app now. Download it. AUDACY. AUDACY. Back with Mark and Lauren in your Pratt Pack next on KDK, minutes away.
Integrity. That's what you want in a financial advisor. Someone who is honest, reliable, and upright. My brother, Lester Botkin, of Botkin Family Wealth Management, is a man of integrity. I remember being so impressed when Lester made the difficult decision to postpone completing his college education. Instead, he served for 5 years as a United States Marine. His experience as a Marine equipped him with keen attention to detail, a high work ethic, and exceptional problem-solving skills. Along with being a man of integrity, Lester is also a man who loves research. He combines these qualities to make educated, straightforward investment recommendations. I'm Sarah, Lester's sister. Along with our dad, we are Botkin Family Wealth Management, a reliable, independent investment firm providing astute wealth management. Visit BotkinFamilyWealth.com to learn more about us. That's BotkinFamilyWealth.com.
Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. PAG and Botkin Family Wealth are separate entities from LPL Financial.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Company.
Check. You might already know about the Acura MDX. V6 engine, C7. We have an announcement. We swapped that engine with a specially made 3-liter turbo V6, race-tuned the steering and suspension, and for the first time, added Type S performance to an SUV. So we're just going to drop this right here. The Acura MDX and first ever MDX Type S. Acura, precision crafted performance.
at Spitzer Acura McMurray.
The KDKA Radio Allegheny Health Network Sports Medicine High School Football Game of the Week is back. Dan Zangrilli, alongside the coach, Johnny Lee, bring you the action Friday. A 6-8 clash in Week 4 as the Central Catholic Vikings visit the North Allegheny Tigers. Presented by Tobacco-Free Adagio Health, GPC Oral Surgery and Dental Implant Center, Sword Out Financial, and brought to you by Harmar Stores, Keystone Custom Apparel, DJ's Barbecue Ribs and Grill Legendary Ribs, First National Bank, Blaze Pizza, and by Red Ribbon. Pittsburgh's Pop High School Football lives on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Solutions Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 54 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 9:30. I'm Rob Taylor. The Schumann Juvenile Detention Center will be up and running again soon. Allegheny County says a Delphi based out of Latrobe has been signed on to get the process moving of reopening the shuttered Lincoln Leamington facility to soon begin housing up to 12 juveniles. By year's end, it will house up to 60. President Judge Kim Berkeley Clark says the reopening of the center is a crucial step toward creating a safe and more supportive environment for Allegheny County teens. Police are investigating after shots were fired in McKees Rocks Friday afternoon. Police say a car was shot up near Island Avenue. It appears, though, no one was struck by the gunfire. Shooting prompted Stowe Rock's primary center to go on lockdown. Police believe there were at least 2 suspects. They were chased into a wooded area, but police could not locate them. We've got 54 degrees. Looking good out there in Pittsburgh. I'm Rob Taylor. Next update at 10 o'clock on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio KDK.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a sensor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is the password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh. The button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
So, ticks are in season, and many carry diseases. They can be in fields and fairways, at picnics and parks, backyards and baseball fields. If you're spending time outdoors, always protect, check, and remove if you find one. For more information on how to keep you, your family, and your pets safe, visit health.pa.gov/ticks.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
There will be some patchy fog this morning, otherwise mostly sunny and a nice start to the weekend with a high of 74. Increasing clouds tonight, low down to 52. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a shower, high 67. While have intervals of clouds and sun on Monday with a stray shower, high 70. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Rindy, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by MediConnect.
These are the people that make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, Lauren Yuran, Mark Clark is here. This is MediConnect, the inside connection, and the seminars. Let me fill you in, then we'll get right back to them. September the 19th, 6 and 7:15 in the evening, AHN McCandless, Duncan Avenue, Pittsburgh. September 20th, 6 p.m., Holiday Inn, Washington Pike, Bridgeville. September 26th, 6 p.m., Beaver Memorial Library, College Avenue. October the 5th, 6 p.m., BC3, Cranberry Campus, Executive Drive in Cranberry. And then October the 11th at 6 p.m., Northern Tier Library, Dickey Road, Gibsonia. And remember, call to reserve your space. These are free seminars, but you got to reserve your space. 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334, or go to MediConnectInsurance.com and click on the Seminars tab. Lauren.
Oh, right. So before the break, we were kind of talking about that, thought process to your insurance that a lot of people have. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Mm-hmm. How do you know that it isn't broke without comparing your coverage? So regardless if you have a Medigap or a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan this season, you have to look at your prescription costs for the upcoming year. This is the biggest area where changes happen, and there's nothing worse than going to fill your prescriptions in January and realizing your costs are going up without knowing ahead of time. And there's a lot of different things that can go into this, right? Are you using a preferred pharmacy? Does your drug coverage have your meds on the lowest tier possible? A lot of times they do formulary updates where your drug was one tier and it jumps to a higher one. And again, you go and get hit in January, especially if you're on a Medigap with a standalone prescription drug plan, and that puts you into a deductible. If the donut hole is inevitable, we want to help in any way that we can. Push it off till as late in the year as possible and utilize some of our different resources like PACE and PACENet through the state of Pennsylvania, Blueberry Pharmacy, a lot of things that we've referenced on the show. So again, should we incorporate one of those programs? GoodRx, Blueberry Pharmacy, Mark Cuban's online pharmacy. We can lay out the most advantageous plans for your needs in minutes. And yesterday, I was working with one of our agents at Banizak, who I know is a frequent listener of the show as well. And he had a client that we're doing some drug research for. And the gentleman had a list of about 15 prescriptions, and he was going into the donut hole. And we were able to kind of look at some different options with Blueberry Pharmacy. And truly, we could actually take him from donut hole being inevitable to not even touching the donut hole. It's amazing. So again, if we never get a chance to look at this, we're never going to know, what is possible. And then Mark, if you want to handle, some cost versus coverage.
Sure. The big thing in our world, we're taught you get what you pay for. But when you're talking about Medicare, it really isn't a get what you pay for type thing with Medicare coverage. We're looking at another year where we shouldn't pay more than about $40 a month for a Medicare Advantage plan. There are plans, Medicare Advantage plans out there that cost more, but I will advise anybody that they might be throwing their money away because they're not really getting better benefits. They're not getting more bang for the buck that way, right? And Lauren, here's the good news, right? If you live in this region, this is a great region to live in when it comes to Medicare Advantage plans. Why? Because it's very competitive. This is the third largest area in the United States for people turning 65 or being older, right? Allegheny County has a lot of people this age. And so what that means is there's a lot of carriers in this area, and all those carriers have multiple different plans. There can be as many as 70 plans available. I mean, it's literally overwhelming sometimes. People think, how are we going to go through 70 plans, Mark? And I say, well, first of all, let's do a little pre-test here. Like, let's look at your meds and your doctors. But the reality is I can show you the plans. We can show you the plans that really have the most generous benefits at the best cost.
And I've worked for the carriers.
Yeah.
I've read evidence of coverages. We talk about those sometimes, but that's kind of like the Bible of your plan per se, right? All the rules and regulations are going to be in there. These evidence of coverage booklets are about 253 pages. Even the enrollment kits are pretty hefty, right? So if you're going to go through 70 of those, again, I always say, if you have trouble sleeping with insomnia, I can give you some of these booklets to review, and it'll probably put you to sleep pretty quickly. But again, instead of going and doing all that research again, we know what plans are tried and true. When we also know what's going to work for your situation. There's people that I have that I work with that, maybe one of the top plans that's out there isn't the plan that we enroll them on because their medications fit something specifically. There's plans, that have special copays even and programs for Eliquis. We talk about Eliquis all the time. That knocks you right into the donut hole. And there's plans out there that have programs that can help you with that. So every situation is going to be specific.
Your health needs change, don't they? I mean, over time, especially as we get older, it can get better, things can get worse. And when you're dealing with those changes, sometimes, it can have financial consequences. It's so important to do a checkup with us, right? It's so important. Right now, we've got live advisors standing by, 888-818 6334. They can actually help you. Schedule an appointment this week with you. They can actually help you take a look at your coverage. Make sure that it's fitting the needs that you have, right? Sometimes if you're relatively healthy, you might want to consider changing from a Medigap plan to a Medicare Advantage plan, right? If you're traveling, you might want to see if you can get a Medigap plan. That's a Medicare supplement plan, There might be a reason you want to take a look and make a change.
And that's a great point. Again, are you traveling more or less?
Right.
Maybe initially you went on to a Medigap plan because you were traveling a lot, and now you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, maybe you were on Medicare and you were waiting for a spouse to retire and you weren't able to travel when you first came on to Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to go into retirement together and go check out this amazing country and do some amazing things, right? And you want a plan that's going to be a little bit more flexible to your lifestyle. And like you talked, individual help. Are you visiting the hospital? What is your hospital coverage, a per stay or is it a per day? I spoke with a client this week who, she's been putting off a knee replacement because of how expensive it was on her plan. And we showed her a plan where, instead of her $750 deductible and a high hospital pay, it was a $225 per stay, $225 to get that hip or knee replaced. Again, there's a lot of benefits out there depending on what you're going to need. And there's all those extras we always talk about, right, that they give out. So dental, vision, hearing. I've seen people put off hearing aids. I had an agent that I worked with, and her husband was putting off the hearing aid. We got him fitted with a plan that gave him a hearing aid for no cost. And I love this story because she was just amazed. And a lot of these plans work with a specific vendor, and they try to make that easy. So you can go and get a test and fax those results into the hearing aid company, and they show up at your door. And she had said it was so easy. My husband was able to navigate everything through the computer, not with a lot of time. And she said there was only one problem, Mark. There was one huge problem. Now he could hear her, kind of uttering things under her breath, and they were having more arguments. But he could hear. So if you've been putting off a hearing aid, right, we can probably get you one at a lower cost. There are, reasons that we meet with our clients a few times a year, especially leading up to this enrollment period. So back at the office, Mark, we've been tasked and our agents have been tasked with reaching out to their current book of business. So if you're a MediConnect client, we've probably made phone calls, sent out a mailer. We've made attempts to contact, and we just want to make sure, hey, are your benefits working? That annual notice of coverage is coming in the mail. Mm-hmm. And, much like the Medicare card, it's not a fancy envelope or super exciting, so don't throw it away. Keep an eye out for that so you can compare what's changed on your plan, and do we need to sit down and compare your plan? So we try to practice what we preach and won't allow even our own clientele to be taken advantage of by these insurance carriers. And we keep ahead of the news and what's going on in the market and make sure that we're ensuring our clients have low price points, higher levels of coverage, and having been through the certification process for each and every insurance company, knowing their plans, we know if there are trouble spots that people should be aware of in planning adjustments.
That's right. Lauren, I'm thinking of a client I worked with over the last couple years. And a couple years ago, he's on a plan. He was in a situation in his life at that time where he needed to go to physical therapy a whole bunch. Right? And the copay for physical therapy was just starting to kill him. I mean, most people end up stopping physical therapy because they just can't afford that copay of $25 or $30 or $40 every time.
Especially when you're going 2 or 3 times a week.
Going 2 or 3 times a week. And this fella, because of the situation he's in physically, he needed to go like 3 or 4 times a week for a long period of time because he needed a rehab. He needed to get back on his feet. He still works and he still wants to be able to move around and drive. And so I was able to find him a plan that gave him a much, much lower copay every time, right? And if you're not looking at your plan, you have to understand this. The carriers come to us and teach us what the changes are going to be. They talk to us about it. This is what we do every day, Lauren. I know you know that. But
it's absolutely true, and I know I've referenced before, but I've worked for the carriers. I was that person for a long time where we have these carrier representatives that we're in contact with and we can escalate issues to. So if you're having a problem with your current plan and you're just having trouble getting through to member services, we've all been there, right? Yeah. On hold. But, to reiterate all of this, MediConnect, right? top-rated experience. We're getting trained by those carriers. We have to certify. We have to remain licensed. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, or if you're a first-time listener or a frequent flyer listener to us here on the show, check out MediConnectInsurance.com. Look at those Google reviews. They'll speak for themselves.
All right, we're going to come back. One more segment. We'll review the show. We'll go over the seminars, everything you need to know. But I would right now go to the phone, set up that free appointment with MediConnect, 888-818-6334. They are standing by until noon today. They're there to serve you throughout the week as well. 888-818-6334, MediConnectInsurance.com.
We face a rapidly changing world.
Checking in often. We have spacecraft from another species.
We do.
Yeah. Is the only way to stay informed.
It's too early to speculate on the impact these events might have.
Your world on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
Return to the magic and mystique of the Renaissance. The Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival, just southeast of Pittsburgh, is back. 6 magical weekends through October 1st, filled with royalty, pageantry, jugglers, and musicians. Comedy, games, fine arts, and crafts. It's entertainment. It's fantasy. It's an adventure to the past. Eat, drink, and be merry. The Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival. Discount tickets available at PittsburghRenFest.com.
I'm with Joe Potocznik from JP Roofing and Siding and Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor. Joe, with wind damage and storm damage, you help a lot of people with their roof and siding issues.
Yes, Larry. We work from A to Z with the homeowner and the insurance company, and all you have to do is call for a free estimate.
412-829-7711. 412-829-7711. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Trust JP Roofing and Siding. Call now.
Want to sell a house but don't want all the stress of listing or selling on your own? Ryan Schlauber here from the Home Buyers of Pittsburgh to fix that. I'll get you cash for your house on the day you choose so you pay nothing out of pocket, and we'll even help you move. Call 412-500-9057 or visit homebuyersoffpittsburgh.com to get a cash offer today.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
These are the people that make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
All right, don't forget YouTube MediConnect Insurance, now over 5,000 subscribers. Their Facebook page, MediConnect, of course, is a great way to see what they do every day. Plus, you get an early hint of our trivia question to get that $15 gas card as well. And those live advisors, so important to the team. They're standing by until noon today. You can call them 888-818-6334, 888-818-6334. Now to the seminars. Here's Lauren.
All right, Rob. So before I jump into the seminars, I think there was a typo on there. Our YouTube subscribers are actually up to 10,000. So we broke that barrier this week in the office. It was really exciting.
Yay.
And it was really, I want to give a shout out to John Solvay with Cigna as well, because he saw that and he came into our office. He brought Sarah's candy and he got 10,000 written out in chocolates. And then brought chocolates for the whole group.
It was awesome.
It was really cool. It was a neat experience. We have some pictures posted up on Facebook of it, but it was wonderful. And those pictures posted up on Facebook. Also, shout out to Logan Pastore, one of our agents. He had recently been a part of a networking group, and it's like a Make-A-Wish group. And there was a lady, and it was her 90th birthday, and her wish was to have a Disney-themed birthday. So our own Logan was Mickey Mouse for the birthday party. So there's a few pictures of that
He's
out there
such
on
a trooper.
Facebook.
Yeah, he's great.
He did a wonderful job. But those seminars, right? So we talk about these seminars. These are if you're coming on to the age of 65, coming on to Medicare for the first time, we want to see you out live in the community. Again, MediConnectInsurance.com, or you can give us a call to register, 888-818-6334. September 19th, 6 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. will be at the AHN Hospital in McCandless. September 20th, 6 p.m., Holiday Inn on Washington Pike in Bridgeville. September 26th, 6 p.m., Beaver Memorial Library in Beaver. October 5th, we're getting into October, Mark. 6 p.m. will be at the BC3 room, Cranberry Campus on Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. And then October 11th, day before my birthday, 6 p.m. will be at the Northern Tier Library in Gibsonia. And Mark, I know, before we kind of summarize some things, you had one last story that you wanted to share.
I do. It's a really recent story. I recently met with a family member, right? And this family member's still working, turning 65 here at the end of the year. I saw him at the family reunion this summer, and he before I left, he's like, hey. He stopped me. He's like, I'm going to be turning 65, and kind of a little crowd gathered at the family reunion, right? I'm going to be turning 65, and I'm going to need some help because this Medicare stuff is confusing, and I have to sign up. He had all these questions, right? I said, you need to call me, give me a call, we'll sit down. And so recently I sat down with him, and he's still on group coverage, and it looked like after I gave him the education that we give everybody. He's thinking, well, if Part B is going to cost me something, maybe it's going to be better for me to stay on my group coverage, right? And then I said, but what's that group coverage cost you, right? They take something from your pay. Every time you get paid, they take something. What's the deductible like? We figured out that the deductible for him and his spouse was $6,000, right? We figured out that just to go to see a doctor, it was going to cost a percentage. They didn't even have a dollar amount. It was a percentage of what the doctor would charge.
Mark, we see this all the time.
Yeah,
with group plans. And I will say one of the things that's super important is annual enrollment for your group plans for your work coverage. A lot of times coincides with Medicare annual enrollment.
That's right.
So if you want to compare those group benefits, because we see that all the time where, I think people, again, get comfortable.
Right.
Work's been covering me all this time, and I have this option. And they don't realize what they're paying out of their paycheck for it and what you're paying in a deductible. My Medicare plans a lot of times don't have a deductible.
Right.
And we could save you a lot of money moving over to Medicare. So if you want to explore those options when your plans come out, which should be sometime soon, give us a call. We can compare the plan that you're going to get from work and the coverage that could be available to you on Medicare. And I think that's so important because so many people tend to gravitate towards those group plans where it could not be the strongest benefit for them.
And what I hear a lot of times is, well, I'm on that group coverage. I got to keep it until the end of the year, right? And then the question I have is, well, have you paid? Are you already finished paying your deductible? They were nowhere close to it. And then the other thing, they feel like, well, I'm obligated to stay on it. They won't let me move. No, that's not true. Lauren, when you turn 65, it gives you a special enrollment period.
So true.
So you have the opportunity to get off your group coverage and get onto a plan. And so this family member, once I gave him the education, showed him what was available to him, and we compared the numbers. He texted me this week and said, you know what? We figured out some things, and yes, I'm going to sign up for my Medicare. And I just said, let me know when you get the confirmation letter, and we'll be ready to go.
Wonderful. Well, again, today we talked about a lot of these personal situations that could affect you and your Medicare. But I think when we get down to the nitty gritty here, what you need to do is get out ahead of that Medicare annual enrollment period. Get out ahead of all that mail that you're going to get so you can just, throw it in the trash. And let's make an appointment. 888-818-6334. Get on our calendar with our expert advisors that are standing by here till noon. Again, we come to you. We can meet you in a neutral location. You can come to our office. We've actually added meeting rooms for clients into our office because of how many appointments we had in office last year, which was amazing to see the office's hustle and bustle and, people coming in and out and tons of clients there.
People should come see our new north side and south side meeting rooms. Yeah, we have specialized space.
Rob, have you seen the new back spaces for our clientele? Oh, you got to come check it out. It's pretty cool. I love these rooms. And again, north side, south side kind of themed. So when you come in and sit down with us, it's going to take you on a jog through memory lane.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
So again, give us a call, 888-818-6334. Check out our website. Check out our Facebook at MediConnect PGH. Like us, and you can get those early hints for the trivia as well that we do every week on this radio.
All right, let's go through these seminars. Take our time, and then we'll kind of remind everyone about they are free, but you've got a phone to register. You can do that now, 888-818-6334, or go to MediConnectInsurance.com and click on the seminars tab. They're going to be probably in a neighborhood near you in the next couple of weeks, but this is where they will definitely be in the upcoming weeks.
All right, so September 19th, 2 sessions, 6 o'clock and 7:15, AHN Hospital in McCandless. September 20th, 6 p.m., Holiday Inn on Washington Pike in Bridgeville. September 26th, 6 p.m., Beaver Memorial Library in Beaver. October 5th, 6 p.m., the BC3 room and the Cranberry Campus on Executive Drive in Cranberry Township. October 11th, 6 p.m., Northern Tier Library in Gibsonia. And again, if you have questions or if you want to see it, we're going to be in another location closer to you. Check out the website, MediConnectInsurance.com. There is a tab that says seminars, and you can see if we're going to be in a neighborhood near you in the upcoming weeks. Odds are we will be. We're going to be all over the place out there for the annual enrollment period.
That's right. In the final minute plus that we have, I just want people to understand they'll make it seamless, they'll make it painless, and no need to get stressed out. I know it can be overwhelming, especially if you've reached that age or you currently are, going to be 65 in the next handful of weeks, and maybe you're dealing with some health issues and you're so concerned about coverage. They need to make a call and set up an appointment, right?
And I think, too, it's overwhelming. It can be confusing. And there's a lot of people that I've met as well where I go to meet with them and I'll say, hey, this is A, this is B, do you know what these are? And they give me an answer, and that answer is wrong. Yeah. So you might have a misconception of Medicare, not, again, anything due to your education on it, but it's just really extremely confusing. So if you think you got it figured out, too, it still can be confusing. 70-plus plans on the Medicare Advantage side, over 30 carriers offering Medigap options in the area, your prescription drug plan options. There is so much out there. It can be extremely overwhelming. And again, we can just kind of cut that and MediConnect, Medicare made simple. Make it a little simple for you.
Lauren, Mark, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Yeah. And listen, that number, they're there till noon today. Take advantage of this. They're there till noon. 888-818-6334. 888-818-6334. MediConnectInsurance.com. The most important thing I want to leave you with, if you're going to be 65, you are 65, you just want to review annual enrollment weeks away, set up that free appointment, never a charge for their services. You can book it right now at 888-818-6334.
The preceding was paid for by MediConnect. Information on the program is intended to solely further the public's general knowledge about the product. Opinions expressed should not be relied upon for any purpose by any member of the audience. News Radio KDKA does not guarantee the accuracy of any of the information heard on the preceding program.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be a part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special. We'll be joined by mental health experts, artists, and athletes, including Selena Gomez, Kelly Clarkson, Ed Sheeran,